Hello and welcome everybody to this week's episode of Trav Chats. I am your host, IMCFTraveller. I am joined today by Jay from the Inter Miami podcast, and Jay, we're sitting here. It is a wonderful Thursday evening, and it has been quite the 24 hours for just Miami as a town in general. Uh, I know that this is a Inter Miami podcast, but you know, our friendly neighbors, the Miami Heat, lost out on NBA superstar Damian Lillard yesterday, and that was blow number one. Blow number two was Inter Miami playing just horrendously and losing the U.S. Open Cup final at home to Houston. And then the third blow came today when Inter Miami released 2024 season ticket renewal prices, and they just hit everybody like a train. So, typically at Trav Chat, I have somewhat of an idea about what we're going to speak about pre-show, and I put that out there and let people join and kind of just discuss those topics. This is a completely different show, everybody. This is the show where I have been drinking, and we are just going to welcome on you, the people, to the show this evening to say honestly whatever you want. You can speak about the game last night. You can talk about Inter Miami season ticket renewal prices. Say whatever you want. I'm just all ears, and I'm going to sit here enjoying my Maker's Mark. Not a sponsor, even though if they want to, I am a slut. And we're just going to go with the vibes, see what the vibes are feeling tonight. So, Jay, any comments before we go down this likely insane rabbit hole?
No, just because I'm lazy right now and I'm trying to peel some garlic. Where'd Dame Dollar end up going? That's Damian Lillard.
He went to Milwaukee.
Oh, Jesus. That's going to be a stacked team.
It's going to be nasty without Lillard and Giannis. But
Yeah.
Inter Miami podcast can't talk about basketball too much. So we'll have our first guest on the show, Mike. Mike from the Greenlock Gang. How you doing tonight?
Yeah, I've had a few drinks. I'm trying to, I think the real question we should be asking ourselves is, what would season tickets have cost if we had won last night? Like, what was that email going to look like?
They could have had several email options ready. And maybe we got lucky that we didn't pull off the double. Not yet.
I'm thinking we got lucky. I'm like, I'm actually doing calculations. I think my tickets are about 95% more than they were last year. I'm like, man, it could have been 150. I got lucky, and I appreciate Inter Miami, taking care of us by playing so flat last night and not being able to score inside the 18.
So you seem probably in much better spirits than I was expecting you to seem. Probably the more rational approach as to what I've seen online, on Twitter, on Facebook. Are you, I guess rather, let's do this. Do you think it is justifiable, the increase you're going to pay next season? Does having Messi on the team make it worth it, right? Because obviously the club is paying him quite a bit of money. They're going to want to recoup some of that. We've already seen ticket sales skyrocket or plummet depending on if he's playing or not. But do you think this was fair and valid? Question number one. Question number two, do you think this is a bad business move by the club?
So, first off, let me take a second, and I've said it online on my Twitter handle. I can see certain people listening to this show that I want to represent, but I do want to call anyone listening, like, your season ticket holder, your season ticket reps, like, this is not on them. Please treat them awesome. They're the ones going to be answering the phone, next couple days. They're the ones that just got their policy. So, like, shout out to them because I know it's going to suck. To answer kind of the second question you threw out there, Jay, I'm struggling with the price increase because, unfortunately, last week I couldn't make the game. I could not sell my tickets for less than the price increase is being asked for. So I don't think Inter Miami got the numbers right. An increase, absolutely warranted. I don't think anyone's questioning an increase. I just don't think the number was right, at least for the section where my tickets are. I think that feels off. Is Inter Miami going to suffer for this as a club, as a business? No, you had to increase the tickets. I'm sure what'll happen is if they don't sell out, like they'll make the numbers work by discount something. But I think I heard something today. There's 35,000 deposit holders out there. There's they're going to sell these tickets. So I think it was the right move from the business. I think from a passionate fan, from day one fans, this hurts, this stings. I do think we have to take a moment and say, what's the stadium going to feel like next year, especially in a game where Messi doesn't play? Like, who's going to be showing up? Because the people who showed up for the first 3 seasons, they're not all showing up next year at this price.
And I guess that kind of is leading me to what I'm getting at. For the people that have been here since day one, or maybe, day 2, like maybe they start following the second season, who have supported this club in an unwavering type of way. I would like to say through the good and through the bad, but honestly, the first 3 years, it was really just all the bad. There wasn't a lot of good. We suffered with them. We stood by them. And I'm kind of removed from this conversation for obvious reasons you're probably already aware of, but I just feel like this is not a way to respect the season ticket members that you already had. I would understand a hefty increase for new season ticket members. I was a little surprised that they would do this to the current season ticket holders.
So in my head, I was prepared for 25 to 50% increase. That's what I was expecting. And I will say there was sticker shock personally, but I think I kind of didn't realize what I paid for my tickets last year. Whether I'm the only one that just kind of, when you hit renew, you don't always realize what you pay year in and year out. I paid more than I thought, but we're paying 50. I don't know what the actual number we're paying. We've said $50 million for Messi. We're paying for Alba. We're paying for all these guys. We knew it had to go up. And Jorge and David and Jose, they didn't get into this for free, right? Their goal is to make money. You had to, if you have, let's just say 2/3 of the stadium is season ticket holders, they were going to have to pay an increase because you have someone else sitting out there that's not a season ticket holder that will pay regardless. So I think it had to go up. I'm still not happy with the price just because I think the club misread the resale market. I think they were looking at the Cruz Azul game, the Atlanta game, and the kind of the beginning of the Messi era. If they looked at the Toronto game and priced off Toronto, this would be a little bit lower. And I think Toronto is probably a better representation of the true value of our tickets than some of these previous games.
And I think it was Gary who was telling me Ticketmaster is trying out this new option where they don't release the ticket to people until like 3 or 4 days before the event to kind of cut down, I guess, on these super aggressive resales. So the pricing seems, kind of off to me, honestly, for especially considering the people that have been here from the inception. But if you're going to be offering that type of price, then I think there should be a better kind of management of specifically the North Stand where all the supporters are. Everyone sees it every game. You got people just standing in the walkway. It's really hard to walk up or down, unless it's the beginning of the game, halftime, or the end of the game. Everyone's standing on the rails, even though we could all just stand on the floor and it'd be a lot safer. I saw a child about the age of TJ, maybe a little younger, get knocked off by somebody walking and fell to the ground and was really shaken up about it. And this is something that I brought to the attention before of the club, like, hey, you guys are going to be liable for some damages up there, not only the club, but also Guardian. If you're going to charge that premium, I would like to have a better presence of someone trying to keep the North Stands in a little bit safer in order. As a father myself, I saw that kid fall and it broke your heart. Like if you have kids and you see a kid get hurt or you see a kid get diagnosed with a serious disease or something like that, it breaks your heart. So if they're going to charge, I just hope that there is a justification behind that outside of, we have Messi, because we're starting to see, who knows how long he's going to be out with that injury. We're kind of banging on these Euro stars, right? But this club showed last night that without Messi, without Alba, we still Busquets, but it's pretty easy to overload him. We can go real quick. We can go back to Nova Ball. And so I feel like there's got to be a larger justification.
So 2 things I want to say that, Jay. First off, I thought it was really interesting. I don't know if you looked at the season ticket renewal screen, but they made it really clear that the North Stand is no longer the North Stand. You've got North Stand reserved, and then you have the wild childs of the SGs. And so they've limited this now to 108 and 109 being the crazy area. 106, 107, 110, and 111 are all going to be open seats like anything other. So I'm not. I don't know if this fully answers your statement, but you clearly have gone to a place in the North Stand where they're going to limit it, and which is kind of sad because and a couple others know I was at the LAFC game. The LAF supporter groups have that entire huge second open, and it was just such a remarkable area to watch them all act as one kind of unit. And now to see the North Stand kind of locked in is sad, but I get it because you have so many people that just want to see Messi, and those are going to be the cheapest tickets. My hope is, to your example, that there's not going to be a lot of TJs and little kids in 108, 109. That'll kind of be the kind of rowdy area that it should be, and kind of push it to 106 and 107. The other thing I want to say, and I know I'm kind of jumping, is I don't know if Messi played last night. We won. Like, we looked such a flat team. We had no energy, no excitement. You put a tired Messi and a tired Alba on the field, and I think the line isn't necessarily, Messi-less Inter Miami loses. It's Messi loses first final in MLS. And it's not knocking Messi, and we all know Messi is Messi and Alba's Alba. We just did not come out to win last night, and I don't think having those guys in the field changes it.
I'm pretty sure there's a crazy stat. Messi's never lost a final he's played in. So I think it would have been quite different because he is that creational piece, and we had nothing besides try and go to the wings and then inshallah back in, hope Kampana can get ahead too. But to the point of the North Stands, so you're reducing it by what, 2 sections? I think it's 4 now or something. But
it's only 2. We're going from 6 to 2. So it's a huge decrease.
Well, but the SG section is just the two middle sections. But it doesn't matter because they even wall it off, but no one's monitoring who has the wristband, who's in the SG and who's not. People just come in early, infiltrate, push the SGs up. So now the SGs are scattered. People there aren't really singing the songs or cheering. I think there could be better management of the North End, and I would hope that with this price increase that they kind of focus on that and return it to, what it was before the influx of all the new fans.
And listen, I agree with you. I do agree with you. And listen, I reached out to a certain king of the North earlier today. I said, listen, if I'm going to pay this much more for my seats, can I at least hang my Believe flag? I'm hoping to get something for the extra money I'm spending.
Yeah, right.
I really do hope that there is more control. And I think if we look at the North Stand for what it is, which is what puts on the show and what really brings a lot to the stadium, though I had a kind of sidebar. I was sitting perfectly midfield yesterday, and it was interesting because I could hear just as easily the Houston people off my right ear as I could hear out of my left ear the band. So I think we didn't have the noise last night, but knowing how important the band is, knowing how important that is to La Familia, and you look at all of Inter Miami's press material and market material where they put La Familia up in front, there has to be something to ensure that stands next year. And I know that we have a lot of friends and leadership roles in La Familia. I am hoping that once we get into the off season, there's some real conversations that maybe didn't happen this year to ensure that La Familia has a place in this Messi era.
I agree. I think now we're seeing, it's funny because there's always been kind of those rumblings of a supporter's trust, right? They're created during times of hardship usually. But this would be a great time to have a supporter's trust to protect the SGs, the ones that are really the diehards that come out to every single game, sing their hearts out, play their instruments, show that passion. To upcharge them just seems, I don't know, in my eyes, it's not the right thing to do. Maybe just give a heavy discount to the SGs. Sure, probably upcharge the hell out of any new season ticket members and give the renewals a break. But this is what it's going to be. It'll be this way for at least 2 more years. Who knows? After that, it could fall back off, or this experiment backfires on them and they realize that they're not getting as many renewals. Yes, there are people that will pay that. I think that is a lower percentage than the people that are willing to pay, $400, $500 for one game to go see Messi versus, some of these, especially, kind of lower level seats. I mean, saw on Facebook, someone's tickets went from like 6,000 to 20,000. And then you saw that Michael Heath post where it was like 8,000 to 20. Like, that's a crazy.
His came back because they're saying it was an error, which is super Inter Miami to have to screw up the prices.
That's what
I will say
though. They're going to blame it on a glitch or an error because someone went public with it and they don't want to look bad.
Well, but I would say I don't know if you saw Michelle Kaufman's article. I didn't actually see it because it's paywalled and I don't want to pay it. But I know our boy Trav did kind of reference it. As I understand the article, and someone can correct me if they read it, is that the ticket prices now are much more in line with the ticket prices for the rest of the Miami-based sports ecosystem. And knowing that, dude, you got to mute your mic when you're either pissing
Oh,
or
sorry.
making spaghetti. I'm not sure what you're doing, but
No,
one of the two.
I'm sauteing a little garlic. My bad.
So we can have Branson cut that part out. But, the prices are now much more in line with the rest of Miami sports. And if you think about it, that Drive Pink was always the interim stadium to Miami Freedom Park. I think this is the new norm, right? Like, I think the season ticket prices we're seeing here are the prices we're going to pay in perpetuity. And it sucks. Like, when that ticket email hit my email inbox today, I had tears in my eyes. Like, this was such a drastic increase. My next thing I knew was I texted my ticket rep, like, is this for real? And he was super responsive. Within like 30 seconds, responded, yes, it is. And then, I moved on and I started talking to the wife and rationalizing the fact I'm going to pay this money next year. But this is the new norm. And I think that kind of sucks. But I think that's also what I'm going to say to a lot of fans is this is, a lot of people go to Dolphins games. Not everyone has season tickets. And I reckon I don't want to make little of this, but I think that's going to become Inter Miami a little bit more too, that a lot of people go to Inter Miami games, but not everyone's going to every game.
The kind of one interesting thing I've seen tonight is on the MLS Reddit page. A bunch of supporters from around the league are talking about their prices for tickets, and we're seeing places like Columbus, for example, where their ticket prices aren't that far off from where ours are. Like, yes, ours are more expensive, and arguably against a club like Columbus, justifiably so. With Lionel Messi, Sergio Busquets, Jordi Alba. Uh, but they're not that far off. It's not that huge of a difference. And, I think that we've been lucky in a sense that we've had good prices for these 3 years. And, while yes, these are high, they one certainly could be higher. And, two, they could certainly be much uh, worse, and they could have been worse from the very get-go, where this conversation would be a lot less about, hey, my tickets doubled or tripled, to, hey, my tickets went up $600 this year. And I think that puts a lot of it into perspective for other clubs are paying in the ballpark of this. So, yes, the increase is large and the increase is kind of surprising, but is it out of this world? Not necessarily. And could it be worse? Yeah, it could have been worse if we were paying more from the very beginning.
It's good old
I'm,
American
I'm,
capitalism because, people shared the numbers for EPL or La Liga and the fact that we're more expensive than, say, a Man City, a United, Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea is flabbergasting, honestly, considering the quality of play we get.
but is it? Because, and I don't, again, I had a long conversation with the wife this afternoon, like, are we going to do this or not? But in an EPL stadium, you're putting twice as many people in a lot of these stadiums, especially the big ones and the brand new ones. We're getting to see for next 3 years in a very small stadium with very limited resources, the greatest soccer player of all time. I'm sure in the comments someone will disagree with that statement, but I get where they're coming from. And to Trav's point, I am very lucky. Like, anyone who's ever seen the blue flag knows where I sit. And everyone that's seen the blue flag knows that underneath me is the Messi family. I am sitting 10 feet from the Messi family. When I really go and look at my ticket prices, even the new ones, and say, okay, this is what it costs. Okay, what's a floor seat at the Heat cost? It's not that different. Now, if this is pre-Messi, if they came in with just a Neville roster, they can't justify it. But I think there is some difference between EPL And I know on Discord and stuff, I've gotten into a whole bunch of arguments about EPL and stuff like that. But the reality is, those stadiums hold, in the majority of those stadiums. I know you're gonna, if someone's gonna bring up Lutton and how I think a stadium is 10,000 people, but a lot of those stadiums hold a lot more people, and they get a lot more in TV revenue than we're going to get. They're gonna make up this someplace somehow because someone's paying for Messi's contract.
So our stadium holds what, 22,000 right now, 18. And they had like the 3,000 to 5,000 estimated with the corner spots. I mean, like from day one, where the suites were about 4,000 a game. I mean, if you want to talk about court size, it's going to be probably one of the suites there. Who knows what those suite prices are now? Probably, 15, 20,000 a game. I mean, they better win the quad next year for that. I know there's a lot of people that aren't too thrilled, but I mean, you guys make valid points. Stanford's what? Stanford Bridge, Chelsea's 40,000, Old Trafford 70,000, something like that. Trav, I don't know what Tottenham's doing.
Man U, Old Trafford is 70. I just googled it. Old Trafford is 74. Tottenham, as the shit that they are, is 62. Get Trav to jump in on that one. West Ham, London Stadium 62. Arsenal 60. Like, they're putting in a lot more people. By the way, I don't know if anyone – the one that really got me the price hike, I can tell you the 4-pack for the low seats were like 15, 16 grand a year ago, 2 years ago. They're 45 grand now. That was a lot of money.
That's a nice car.
And the fact is –
that's a legit nice car that they're charging for 17 home games.
The fact is, they're going to sell every one of those ahead of time. Like, they'll go corporate now, right? Like, the corporate sponsors are going to get in and get those. But that's a lot of money they're going to make just from some very simple seats. And frankly, I was talking to my rep pre-Messi about trying to get in on there. And there was another Inter Miami podcast member that I was working on maybe splitting it with. I saw the 45 today, and I just started laughing because I can't imagine if I'd gotten in there halfway through this season and then moved my seats to those, and then next thing I know is I'm so far priced out.
Fair. I'm curious as to who would be going in on that much money with you.
Hi there. My name's Stupid. And I just want to pop in and, I see people commenting, feel free to hit that request button, join us, share your thoughts too. Trust me, I don't want to hear more of my own voice because at this point I have a headache.
I'm trying to figure out how to read the comments while like muting and unmuting myself. There we go. Figured it out.
But in regard,
I got to call out Art. I don't know who Art is, but thank you for agreeing with me that we're going to lose regardless. So I appreciate that. Jay may not agree, but I don't know who Art is, but he's agreeing with me, so I appreciate that.
Also, in regards to your Tottenham comment, Tottenham may not have Messi, but Tottenham is, just the best club in England. So, can't really compare. It's not a one-for-one comparison. And, Tottenham Stadium is just gorgeous. I mean, what a stadium. Oh, God, Stamford Bridge can't compare to that.
I mean, Stamford Bridge has trophies from the last few years. I mean, your last trophy was, 2008?
Hey,
so there are some things that Stamford can compare.
I don't know. We probably have 20-some trophies in the last time, since the last time Tottenham won a trophy.
I mean, CL, Club World Cup. But no, you're right. Tottenham Stadium is a masterful of engineering. I think that's how it moves is amazing. And sometimes, engineering can make you feel good about the fact that you suck as a team.
And where are you in the standings? Oh, I'm sorry. I can't see you guys from down there.
We're going to win. Both teams will win the same number of trophies this year regardless. So, yeah, no matter where the standings are, we'll get the same number of trophies.
All right. That's a good dig. I'll give that to you. Matthew and Nano, I see you guys have joined. What do you guys have to say?
Can we curse on this?
I don't give a fuck. Yeah, sure.
All right. I just wanted to say, I did my calculations on the tickets. I wish there was something for the day ones. Again, I know this has been hammered. Maybe a 20-30% increase would have been nice, but maybe a little bit of a thank you for being a fan since day one. What was the last time we've ever heard that from the club? They always thank you, La Familia, but hello, there's no recognition of us who've been here and see the team lose over and over and over and over again.
I'd like to point out the irony of this coming from somebody who isn't.
Don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. I know what you're going to say. Don't worry about it.
Hey, when did you start following the club, Matthew?
August of 2020.
All right. Mike, when did you start following the club?
So the club came to my company to buy our HR software. I was a fan. So when my wife and I got married in 2008, I told her Miami's going to get a club. We're going to be season ticket holders from day one. I don't know when it's happening, but that you have to accept that as part of our marriage.
Okay.
So
from my
when the Fusion folded, I was ready. I've been waiting for this.
So for my story, so it was 2 season tickets. My dad and myself. He got the season tickets in 2019. So my dad's technically a day one. The other ticket was technically for my mom. But then I heard that we signed Higuain. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to show my face, see what's up. And then ever since, I've always hijacked her seat ever since. So I guess technically my name's on that wall somewhere in the South Stand as a day one fan. Somewhere. It's somewhere there.
That wall is no longer there. It's been painted over.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Really?
It's been replaced with the new mural.
Bruh.
So, Trav, I got a question for you because I needed you to help me out here because I was thinking about the things that upset me today. And one of the things that upset me, because I was looking at my invoice from last season, and then I was comparing it to Matthew posted, last year's rates, and there was quite a discrepancy. And the only thing I could think of was that we got a pretty nice discount on renewal last year. This year, we're being offered 5% in the first week. I'm curious, do you know what the actual renewal discount we were offered last year? I want to say it was 15%, but I can't find anything to prove it.
I do believe that from 22 to 23, I think it was like 10%, 10 or 15%.
Let me dig through my emails. Hold on.
Year over year. And then, and then we saw the increase this year.
10%.
I think, to me, if you want to call out one thing that I am a little annoyed with, and it goes a little bit to agreeing with Matthew, is I would have liked to have seen a similar discount. Great, you're going to charge me 95% more on actual rates. I understand that, but that lack of the big discount would have been nice. And I don't want to say 5% is just a slap in the face because I don't think that's fair, but I think 10% probably was a better one. Especially, I was joking with one of my friends today, and I was like, it should be 5% for every year. Your day ones we get 20%. Year twos 15. It would be cool if they did something like that because I think that's a way to give back to your fans, but still have the higher rates and still not make sure that not every person renewing is getting some Uber discount.
Some super business move that they did. So basically, if you want to get season tickets for Miami Freedom Park, right? It's based on the number of when you got your season tickets, like the little badge that you got. A lot of day ones are, turning their backs. So I'm guessing they're going to jack up the prices for Miami Freedom Park too, despite Messi only playing maybe half a season there, which is probably another increase we're probably going to get in 2025 because they know people are willing to pay even more.
I'm going to disagree with you, man, because I know the lowest number I know is 162. And what I've been told is anything under 150 was ownership. So I know, like number 2 on the list, they renewed already. I'm 192, and I'm going to renew. I know the guy next to me is in the 200s. He's going to renew. So I think, if I'm being honest, there's more of the day one fans that are renewing than is showing up on Reddit or Twitter. Like, there's a lot of noise, and I get it. I've been a part of the noise. I've increased the noise, but I think because when everyone's going back to the numbers and getting past the initial sticker shock, they're saying, okay, it's not 100, it's not 200%, it's not 300%, it's less than 100%. I do think a lot of the day ones will stick more than people expect. I know we'll lose thousands. I'm not gonna. I don't want to be ripped apart on Twitter tomorrow because people are like, oh, the guy said no one's gonna leave. We're gonna lose people, but I think there's more people gonna pay the price than that are not.
Well, and I think there's a lot of people that are arguably, not only day one fans, but people who like myself are in this for the long haul. Like, sure, the first very second that I saw the email, my response was, wow, that's a lot of money. But within 5 minutes, I was already of the mental headspace of, oh, I'm going to renew. And, I was texting my rep that at the same time and, jokingly told him that, maybe I won't renew. And, he rightfully called me out on it and was like, yeah, you are. Because, some of the day ones, and I'd say a lot of the day ones are in this for the long haul. We've waited for Inter Miami for such a long time. And, yes, the price increase is what it is. But at any point in this club's history, if you're going to call it quits, why would you call it quits 6 months into what will arguably be the kind of greatest tenure in this club's history? And I think a lot of people will have kind of the same reasoning and the same thought process. And I've talked to a lot of people with that same thought process where it's, oh, all right, let's get past the sticker shock. All right, we're past the sticker shock. Great. Now let's look at this and say, oh, all right, Miami's won their first trophy. We've been to 2 finals. This is all within 6 months of Lionel Messi joining the club. And if you're going to jump ship, this it isn't particularly the time to do so.
I'd add one more thing to that, Trav, which is the price I'm going to pay is what I was going to pay at Mary. I was prepared to pay for MFP. We always knew the MFP, what do you call it? The MFP premium was coming. I think they just, with Messi, we've pushed it up 2 years. But if you said, hey, Mike, how much do you think you're going to pay for if you're 3 tickets in MFP? This number wasn't far off.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. Nano, Andrew, let's hear from you guys to see you guys are on the show.
How's it going, y'all? Trav, with what you were saying right now about jumping ship, I feel like we kind of have to look at it like more like people getting priced out instead of like them choosing not to go. It's more like they just like can't afford it anymore, Because before we kind of had to like get people to go to the stadium. Like no one wanted to drive, no one wanted to go, no one wanted to go see, Ben Sweat play and start for 90 minutes. Like I don't know, it's just like feels like a completely different club now since it was like 2-3 years ago, in a good way, of course, but also with its negatives, of
Yeah,
course.
and I agree with that, and I think that is something that may be lost upon all of this is there's going to be a lot of good fans who don't really have a choice. That the difference between paying $600 for season tickets or paying $1,500 for season tickets, that's their rent, that's their car payment, that's their mortgage, and those are the people that's going to hit the hardest. And you have to feel for them, and you have to think about them with something like this, and say that it's going to be disappointing to see people like that go because they're good, genuine people. I mean, I know people like that. I've just tonight talked to people like that who their response was, dude, this is my car payment. Like, I can't afford to not pay my car for a month to turn around and have season tickets. Season tickets are a luxury. My car, I literally need to live.
Depending on where your seats are, that's your entire car. Forget a payment. If you're paying
Yeah,
30,000,
but Jay,
40,000.
Jay, anyone buying $40,000 tickets isn't. Well, I'm not gonna say they're not living paycheck to paycheck because I know a person that would buy that living paycheck to paycheck, but they're sitting at a income bracket where they can afford to pay it, and I think
Right.
that's one of my cautions is saying like, hey, just double the price, you should be able to afford that. That's bullshit, right? Like there are people that like they spent every last dollar to get in, and they're going to be priced out. And I know that there's in some of the chats I'm in, there's some people that are very clear that they used to go to games every game, and now that they can't afford that anymore with the new prices, and these new prices will add, that was pre-season ticket just in one game passes. But I would bet Inter Miami and MLS have pretty good data to say that the prices they're putting at, they're going to sell the tickets at, and that the majority of season ticket holders won't be priced out. I might be wrong, and the truth will show up in the actual like how many season ticket holders make it through.
Mm-hmm.
I saw one person joking at Twitter earlier today that they're going to have to send us stickers next year to show how much our numbers jumped because we lost so many people. But I don't think it's going to be horrible.
But
someone can hold me true to that in 6
being
months.
in a certain tax bracket doesn't mean that you're not concerned about making smart financial decisions. That might be what got you into that tax bracket. And some people might say, hey, at $20,000 for the tickets, like, I'll just cop the $100 and whatever dollar, MLS Plus on Apple TV, and we'll just support that way. Maybe we'll buy a couple tickets to some games here and there, but I mean, hey man, it's capitalism at its finest. I wish Callie was here; he would be so proud of me.
I think we should just go one by one. Do you think, like, just basic question, do you think the price increase for day ones, the 80-90%, do you think that was fair? Do you think that's a fair price increase for those who have been here for ever since, the Ben Sweat days?
I mean,
Just one
Can
by
I just
one.
real quick?
Just one
I
by
just
one.
need to say fuck Ben Sweat, because every time that man had the ball the first 2 seasons, I would say that. So anytime I hear his name, I just have to say fuck Ben Sweat, because
Catching strays 3 years
I
later.
love Ben Sweat. All right,
I
we
just
interviewed Ben Sweat. He's a great guy, all around good dude. I love Ben Sweat.
no, I'm sticking with that one. Fuck Ben Sweat. He cost us the PK in the play. Like, it was a disaster. And I felt bad because his family used to sit in front of me at the games, and I'd yell that as they could hear me, and I still have some guilt over that.
I mean, to answer that question, I just want to see like some improvements in the stadium too. Like, my tickets are in the north stand, and like the bathrooms there are not the best. Like, food
They're
out,
trailers.
yeah,
It's literally
Yeah,
it's
trailers.
literally a trailer. Like, I get that that these are the same prices as, like, I don't know, the Heat, but like the Heat have like restrooms, and the Heat have like a roof, and there's AC, and there's like parking options. Like, the parking options at Drive Pink are like horrendous. I mean, yesterday, some of the parking at the Greenlaw, which I know is like the best parking at the stadium, right? But it was like $70. Like, I mean, come on, like, it's more than half the ticket, like, at the cheapest, Like, it's just, and there's no discount for season ticket members either for parking. At least I haven't seen it yet, but
They should change that. They should
yeah,
add parking with the season ticket package now.
easily.
The yellow lot is still horrendous. Getting out of there is just, whew. You're like, I was sitting out there for like 45 minutes just trying to get out. So you guys think
I
it's
mean,
fair? Wait, to go back to the question, you guys think it was fair? It's yes or no?
I'm going to go with no, but I'm going to give a star to it, which is, I think the increase was not consistent with actual ticket prices. I think it's off by about 10 or 15%. So I think that's unfair. I would have liked to have seen a bigger discount to day ones. Like I said, my suggestion would be like 5% per year you've been here, 3% per year you've been here, and add it up. I think that would have been really cool. But I'm not talking the difference between 50% and 100%. Like, it's you're talking probably a 10 or 20% difference in my thing of where I think it's fair. I think a large increase was probably warranted, but you could have scaled it back by about 10 to 20% for the day ones.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair, but like, I understand it from a business standpoint. I think they could have done some things better for the day ones, but the reality is they're probably going to sell most, if not all, and we'll probably see a lot of people who had maybe seats within maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 rows to the field that might have to make a decision and push up into a higher seat that is in a better priced bracket.
Here's something that I'll give the club a good job too. If you saw, there's like it was a Reddit post where someone got an email where they were season tickets or something like that, and if you resold a lot, if you resold a lot of tickets throughout this year, your account got flagged. If you resold too many tickets and just decided not to attend the game, and they canceled their season tickets. So I thought that was a good thing by them getting rid of stuff like that. Like what do you call it? Scalpers essentially.
Yeah, I'm going to plead the Fifth Amendment on this question, as per my legal right. I do believe my lawyer is now on this podcast, so now I have legal protections under the U.S. Constitution. But on that topic, Andrew, let's hear from you. I haven't heard from you just yet.
Hey all. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of say like I understand the need for the increase, and I think they really should have done the state ones a little bit of justice with not as big of a sticker shock. Because again, next year I have a feeling after 2024, 2025's prices are going to go up even more because that's when we're going to have Freedom Park and when we're going to be putting our ticket deposits in for that. And I'm just worried what they're going to want to charge for that. Because like even for this year's one, for this year's tickets, uh, last year I paid just under 600 for my one seat in 113, and now it's up to almost $1,400. That's almost an $1,100 increase
Yeah. This is
for
Messinomics.
just one seat.
This is Messinomics.
Yeah,
This
no,
is inflation at its
exactly,
best.
and yeah, and like the worst part about it is like to get the renewal bonuses, you have to renew within a week. If you look at the email, they said you had to renew by I think it was like October 4th or something like that. Um, you still have until like the end of October to either opt out or it'll just auto renew at the price. But then you lose out on that extra little bonus that they're going to give. And part of me is saying that that's not enough time to give people a chance to make that financial decision that they need to. Because, like, right now I'm planning actually my Western Canada trip for the Florida Panthers because I have season tickets for the Florida Panthers as well. Trav, I met you at the Panthers game. I think it was one of the early playoff games up in the 300 level last year. It's where, like, they got to understand people have other bills besides this luxury that is Inter Miami. That, especially for most people I know that live down here, we all live paycheck to paycheck. Throwing an increase like that and having people have to actually make that decision within a week or even just within a month is kind of that's not a right move in my mind.
No, I agree with you.
Give a little more heads up.
That's a very good point. I'd say
Because for the past I want to say month and a half, 2 months, I know we've all been asking our reps, hey, when is ticket information coming out? When is ticket information coming out for renewals? Because we wanted to know because we knew all of us knew a price increase was going to happen. We all know it because you sign Messi, you're gonna not even just Messi, Jordi Alba, and Busquets. Like there's going to be a price increase, hands down, no doubt.
yeah.
Let us know what that is so we can financially prepare for that.
And now they're letting everyone know, and especially like the supporters and a lot of the day ones. You're right; they're working class. They're kind of paycheck to paycheck, and that does make it a little bit more difficult. Those are I think still doable compared to maybe like the tickets Mike has. But for the love of God, if they are listening to this live or they listen to the podcast version of it, please step up your season ticket holder boxes. Don't just go a scarf and a pin. Hook them up with something solid.
So Jay, I want to jump on that too. By the way, Andrew Land, loved your comments. I can agree more with them. I don't know if anyone ever saw, but I think 2 or 3 years ago, Atlanta United did whiskey glasses. And I'm thinking that this year we got a card, and Atlanta United got whiskey glasses, and the year after that they got some wireless headphones. Like, if for the price we're paying now, the price we were paying was, you still should have been better. But for the price we're paying now, if Inter Miami's now saying this is a premium product, you're getting a premium experience, you're paying premium dollar, then we deserve a premium product. We deserve better bathrooms, better food options, better choices. And I do think I made a comment, I don't know if it was on Twitter, on Discord a couple of weeks ago, like some money needs to be put into Drive Pink Stadium to really make it a home for Messi and a home for fans watching Messi. And I don't want to say hope. I have some expectations when we walk in the stadium for next season that we do see upgrades. I'm not saying new not the stands themselves. I don't think you're going to change much there, but in that surrounding area, I do expect to see some upgrades because a premium product. If we're paying for a premium product, the premium product Messi isn't going to be on the field every day, so there better be a premium product around there to make it worth it.
You sound kind of ungrateful for these fireworks we get now.
Hey, well, so I'm in West Stand, so I got to actually see the fireworks. I didn't know that last night, but I heard that if you were in East Stand, you couldn't see fireworks. It was above you. I don't know if someone can confirm or deny that, but I didn't have a clue. I thought everyone got to see it, but that's what I heard was you could only see it from my side.
Yeah, I can't confirm it for the like the Leafs Cup game or um, the Open Cup games because I was sitting in the West Ends for that one as well. But for regular matches on the East End, you could always see it.
They were nice fireworks
since
last night. They multicolors. We had multiple colors. It was a really nice display. But no, I don't consider that to be part of the premium experience. If you want to make it like, hey, fireworks are premium experience, I expect the F-16s from Homestead to fly over every match. Like that'll make the fireworks the true premium experience.
Also want to see like some of the input about like from season ticket holders, like more input on the club on, I don't know, like a jersey idea, like something that we can like all like come together and like help our team out, you know?
I
In
agree
terms
with
of
that.
design,
And I can say that the team does do something every year when it comes to whatever kit's being released. It may not be input on design and stuff like that, but they do things in terms of hey, this is how we got here. This is how it was inspired by you guys, the fans. Something like that is done. Pretty much every year. Just to keep fans in mind, and just to get kind of their feedback and their opinion on things. But let's hear from Tunji. Tunji, if I said that right. I see you've been waiting.
Tunji.
Tunji, my
And
apologies.
first and foremost, I appreciate you letting me up here. I know you can probably see I am not a Inter Miami fan. I am a Nashville Soccer Club fan. I come in peace. First and foremost, my question to y'all: seeing things from afar, um, with this major price increase, like with some, we've been talking about it all night, but with some of the people like tripled. Some people are paying the price of like a nice car, right? We said that earlier. I've heard a lot of talk about like, well, this is what we want, and you guys are right. You're 100% right. You should be getting upgrades to the stadium, more input on what's going on. But my question to y'all is, given what you've seen this year when Messi and Jordi Alba are not playing, or Sergio Busquets, 2 out of that 3 is out, right? What do y'all expect from the team in terms of like your trophy haul, in terms of like your wins and losses? What do y'all expect in terms of performance next year with this price increase? Because to me, I wouldn't, if this happened in Nashville and we had the same circumstances as y'all, let me be fair. If we had the same circumstances, I would be like, yeah, well, you gotta win it. You gotta bring home some silverware. I need some silverware. That's my question.
So, Tunji, I'll jump in. First off, let me call out Nashville Stadium as being awesome.
Thank you, sir.
I was there at the Leafs Cup final with
Well, you were there?
Trav and Jay. Yeah, no, Trav, Jay, and I all traveled together. Chris, who I can see as a speaker now, he was there. Joe, a bunch of us went up there. So it was awesome. Your stadium's awesome. Appreciate the hospitality. It was an amazing time. So let me start with this here. I'll be the first to say I am super happy that we got a trophy this year.
Yeah.
I was probably the least unhappy guy yesterday because I'm like, I got a trophy. I don't like the USOC was icing on the cake. I'm kind of going back to what I said earlier in the pod, which was, if Michelle Kaufman's article is correct, the prices that we're now being asked to pay are consistent with other Miami prices for other sporting events. I think if you talk to a Miami Heat fan, you talk to a Miami Dolphins fan, the expectation is you win a trophy every year, right? You're paying that price. But the reality is, I don't know the last time the Dolphins won the trophy.
It might be this year.
I think it was the perfect season. It might be. You can only score 70 points so many games. And by so many games, I mean once. I'm expecting we're going to have a chance, I think, at 4 trophies next year, if my count's correct.
God, all of them?
We're going to haul in. No. I'm saying if we're going to have a chance at 4, we can bring home 1. Like, there's an
Oh, I see what you're
expectation
saying.
that there will be a trophy with this team at the end of next year. Are we going to bring home a treble or a quadruple? What's the cue there? I don't think that's realistic. I expect that we're contention for multiple, and we can bring home 1. Now, I will say there's a
Quadruple, by
Tottenham
the way, Mike.
quadruple. There's a Tottenham fan on this that understands that no matter how often you're in contention, you'll never actually win one. But I think the expectation is we're going to win a trophy every year. But I don't think that's any different than any other major fan in South Florida sports. So I think there's kind of an interesting, I get your statement you're making, but name a single fan of any single club that doesn't expect a trophy most years. And I think there's kind of
Cleveland Browns.
that back and forth on that.
Spurs.
Listen, the Browns and Spurs always still expect a trophy too.
I think we can get 2. I honestly do. I mean, with Messi for a full season, we should be easily in the playoffs. We'll probably make some other acquisitions as well. I mean, I'd be shocked if, honestly, we don't get at least 1, but I think we can realistically get 2. And I'm hoping that with Messi over the next 2 years, maybe 3 years if he picks up that extra contract option year, that we get at least 1 MLS Cup out of it.
That's fair, man. Thank you guys for letting me into your space. I appreciate that.
Shout out Nashville. I'm born and raised from Louisville. I love Nashville. Deep love.
Shout out Nashville. Thank you guys for being great host in the Leagues Cup final. Sorry that we had to take that from you.
Oh, dude, I cried, bro. I'm one of the capos for the Mixtape 615, the dopest supporter group of Nashville SC, and I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I cried at the end of that Leagues Cup final because that was just, I mean, it wasn't just a loss. It was just the whole experience was just amazing, overwhelmed. I couldn't believe we were even there. I couldn't believe I got to see Messi up close and in person. I did lead the booze, so I'm gonna own up to that. But at the same time, you guys should do that when we're there. You know what I'm saying?
And shout out to
Listen,
MF
I
Doom
don't.
mask as well. I like that MF Doom mask.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's SF Doom, bro. Soccer face Doom. That's my handle.
Ooh.
Yes, sir.
And we'll make sure to boo Hani Mukhtar when you guys come down next year.
Of course.
I will never boo Hani. I love Hani.
You should. I boo Hani. I boo Hani when he deserves it. It's okay.
I'm booing Dax McCarty every day.
Oh, relax, bro. He's an old man.
Dude, Dax McCarty's podcast is one of the best podcasts on the web. Like I love his podcast. I've started listening every week now. Just because it's such an awesome take on MLS.
It's dope. It's dope. I love his podcast. Can I drop a plug or is that too much?
Yeah, no, go ahead, man. Drop a plug.
All right. Well, my supporter group, the Mixtape 615, just dropped a podcast. I'm one of the hosts. It's just Mixtape 615. I doubt y'all would find any of it interesting, but I'm definitely going to be listening to y'all's now that I see you guys out here being active on X. I call it X. I don't care what y'all say. But I'm definitely going to be listening to the Inter Miami podcast from here on out. So I love what y'all are doing.
Love it, brother. I'll definitely check it out. I got a lot of free time while I'm in the office, so I'll definitely check it out.
Hey, give me some feedback, man. Give me some tips and tricks, please.
For sure.
So on that note, I think Mike made, a very interesting point of, yes, Miami could be competing for, a quad next year. And, I think all of this kind of ties into the overall topic of tonight, which is, season ticket prices. But, and Chris, I'll let you speak once I'm done my rant, just because I've started and I can't stop. But is there now an expectation from the fans, and this is irregardless of, a Lionel Messi or, Sergio Busquets or Jordi Alba on the squad, with prices like this, you're pricing the club like a perennial title contender. Is there now an expectation from the fans that every single year Miami has to bring home at least one trophy, and at least one during this Lionel Messi era? Do they have to bring home a CCC trophy? Is that the new expectation, which would be a complete flip from where we were just at the beginning of this season, where The goal was just make the playoffs. But on that note, Chris from Battered Herons, God, one of my good friends. How you doing?
Yeah, sorry guys. Thanks for having me on. Fifth time, long time. So I just have a couple points. One's about the box, and the other one is about refurbishments in the stadium. So about the box, for sure we need something a lot more than what they've been giving. Most definitely. There's so many other clubs that are giving I don't want to say so much more, but they're giving more quality to their returning season ticket holders. What they gave last year was it was terrible. And then on top of that, just to get a card with my name on it, which, first of all,
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
the people that are charging me for the products that I buy at the store, they don't even look at my card. I never take my card. It's essentially just something that I keep around just to sort of look fancy, right? So that's point number one. And number two, there's absolutely no way that they're going to dip 1 cent into refurbishing this freaking stadium. You guys cannot believe that, right?
There's no way. Because they got to play Miami Freedom Park.
They're trying to build this new stadium in 5 minutes. There's absolutely no way they're going to take any of the cents that go to these season ticket holders or from these season ticket holders and put it to this Drive Pink Stadium. Absolutely not. They got to dip all of that into the Freedom Park. There's no way.
Maybe they'll add, a bathroom air freshener. That's about it.
You don't like courtside prices while playing in a high school stadium? A lot of ungrateful people in here, man.
Well, I think. Listen, but Chris, they've already announced there's new food options coming. So, I think you will see.
Chris.
Well, you
want more food trucks.
Well, I mean, Northwest Club, we're getting Ruth Chris for free, but the North Stand maybe not. But I think I'm not using the term refurbishment. So what I said earlier is I think they're going to have to offer some new things. They're going to have to offer more, I think, to what Andrew, said earlier. Like, there's going to have to be more food options. There's going to have to be more, because you have people paying premium prices every single game, and Messi will not play every game. And so I think you're going to have to see some things like that. Are they going to build brand new bathrooms? No, of course not. There's no way in hell they're going to do permanent additions, but they're going to have to do some things to justify that price for the next 2 years.
But okay, so now let's really think about this, right? Let's say they come with new food options. Do you think, okay, so I related to last game, not this game, but the game prior, right? The game prior, I noticed that the freaking Mexican food truck, which is one of the best food trucks, by the way, in my opinion, was outside of the yellow lot. And I spoke to the guy. The guy's like, yeah, we're just out here. They're not going to have us inside anymore. Now, luckily, in this last game yesterday, they were out there. But they're playing like, hot potato with these food trucks, which are promising. They're awesome. Do you really think that they're going to push their sort of permanent standing concessions out of the way so that way some other merchant can be able to make more off of the percentage from what they sell? There's no way that you guys can realistically think that they're going to take out the merchants, that they're going to take out their current concessions in order to plug in a Ruth Chris or like some other sort of food vendor. That food vendor is going to make way more than what the organization can make off of that. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm just.
But it's to build a crappy little food stand and then put a premium name on it and let them serve isn't hard. It's very cheap to do. I will say, I don't know how many other people. I know there's Joe's on here, so there's at least one other Northwest person here. They have doubled the value of the food in Northwest Club this season, and so as me, who's a premium ticket buyer, they have increased the value I'm getting on there. Are they saying? Am I going to say it's 100% increase? No, of course not. But I've been seeing it at least on the west side. The value you're getting for that ticket has increased as the prices have gone up. Last year, we were lucky to get like hot dogs and a sandwich This year, there's legit shrimp, crab, and steak. And I know I'm saying this, I sound like a rich asshole, and I get it. There's a joke that I am the rich asshole, but you are seeing they are putting more money into places around the stadium to justify the cost. I don't know. I can't speak for everything. I don't spend a lot of time on the east side, but they're putting more money in.
I just think that as a just thinking of it from a business perspective, if I go and I buy, steak and lobster and all this other stuff wholesale, get it cheap, and then raise the ticket prices to the Northwest area, I'm going to make a killing. I'm getting all of the food that I'm selling, all the drinks that I'm selling at a super low rate. I'm marking the hell up out of the Northwest area or whatever it is. That's got to be something where the organization is going to make a killing. I don't think that they're going to be willing to make all of these changes to a stadium that 2 years from now, a year and a half from now, we're not going to be in anymore. I just don't see it. I hope to see it, but that's just something I don't see.
They could catch a corporate sponsorship, though. Like we had Wendy's,
Yeah.
even though they failed miserably with the Wendy's watch parties. But they could make a corporate partnership. They could throw a stand in there and then give them like a more proper space in Freedom Park. Geodis, for example, I forgot what it was called, but they had like different, what seemed like restaurants. I think one of the hot dog places I saw downtown as well. So it looked like there was a sponsorship there. And just shout out to Mike. Shout out to you for being able to project down from your ivory tower to us peasants.
No, I always appreciate going to see the peasants, and as one of your kings, I do what I can, but I don't want to be the rich asshole as much as I enjoy doing it. I think that they're going to have to find ways to make the different ticket levels more attractive. And I think that a little bit, you saw that in the pricing today. We saw that they're pricing different areas with different increases. Like we saw it across the board. We know the West stand got hit hard. I know Mike Reeves came back and said he wasn't really 30,000, it was only 15,000, but his tickets went up more than 100%. I know a couple other friends of mine that are in West Stand that said the same thing, that their tickets went up over 100%. So you saw some really big increases, and 100% for someone going from 15 to 30,000 is different than someone going from 400 to 800. So they're going to have to put value in around the stadium to justify it. And then there's going to be areas of the stadium that are only meant for single ticket purchases. And that's something that kind of going back to being the business side of it. They're making informed decisions. I'm not saying every decision is a good decision, but there's probably some thought that's going into it.
There's got to be some thought that's into it. Who we got next? So, Ian, you want to speak a piece?
Not really, because I'm absolutely thoroughly enjoying this conversation, guys. This is one of the most illuminating fan conversations that I think I've heard, and really kudos to everybody who has stepped up. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I do want to touch on a couple of things that may or may not have been said. I know that there was a speaker earlier named Andrew who brought up a very good point about how the future prices are going to look. And for me, when I heard this decision today, that was where my immediate concern went to, because you are going to marry the messy years with the price increase that is happening now with the new stadium. And so those price points will not presumably reflect the quality of the team when the team is opening up Freedom Park. And we have all seen this, especially with the Dolphins and especially with the Hurricanes, that once those price increases begin, they do not seem to end or recalibrate to the quality of the performance and the quality of the experience. And so I think that is a huge cause for concern with these price increases. I hear what you guys are saying very much. That's where my focus will be on this. I hear what you guys are saying on stadium upgrades. I encourage you all to dream big, freedom to dream. But I don't think that you're going to get anywhere on that. So that's an interesting thought, but I would expect the experience that you're currently getting just with the greatest footballer to ever play. And so, that's sort of the state of affairs there. The one thing that I did find interesting is when you compare now, MLS has always had high season ticket prices comparably to the quality of the league. That has been historic over the 2.5 decades of the league, 3 decades now of the league, nearly, and so you have to understand that, I mean, if we look towards Barcelona, right, the average season ticket prices at Barcelona is around $500 or $400 American. And concessions is reflective in that too. There is obviously very big cultural differences in that as well. As far as I know, the highest average ticket price was Austin, and that was around $700, just under 700. I think it was like 690. Inter Miami has now exploded that, and that is nowhere near what is the normal average ticket price for. I think it's upward of 800 now, at the very least. And,
which is a record we will hold on to
correct, for a while, for a
think.
very long time, right? And for me, I wonder, because I'm always wondering with my marketing hat why and how you're doing this. And Inter Miami has had a very interesting history with this, and I'll try and keep this part brief. But they have often reflected a marketing strategy that is more similar to the Marlins than it is to the Heat. And what I mean by that is that they have been more willing to have premium tickets for not sellouts than they have for sellouts at a comparable value. That they say it's okay if we have the not sellout crowds because we trust La Familia to bring an environment, which they always do, and we can push that premium VIP experience at a higher market value than it takes to sell out an entire arena for a lesser, more moderate average ticket price sale. That's been pretty consistent even since, to quote someone earlier, the Ben Sweat days. And so this falls in line with that decision of marketing the way that they've done in the past. And to Mike's point, them prioritizing the Northwest suite instead of the East fans and the South Side fans, et cetera. So I worry more about it less in the short term. I understand the immediate reaction, and thank you guys for teaching me about how the fans are feeling, because this has been very eye-opening and I've loved your conversation. I'm very excited to hear more from you guys on it. But I'm more worried 3 to 5 years down the line on when this team does not have Messi. What is this situation going to look like? Because today's decision, I think, reflects more on that than it does the immediacy of having this team that you guys have now.
Very well stated. And I'm not sure if anyone in this chat right now has a more thorough understanding of the landscape of all these South Florida pro teams. And don't get upset if in 2025 we get the whole league gets a fourth DP and then we get Anton Griezmann here, because we're going to see another increase.
So I had a question for Ian. Don't you think that when we lose Messi, I don't want to say there'll be another Messi, because I honestly don't believe there'll ever be another Messi, but that Jorge, Jose, David, whoever, Messi now is one of the owners, they're going to go out and find the next guy to fill the stands, and that'll be the perennial Inter Miami thing of there's always a person on that team that's going to pull in fans regardless of how well they play.
I know that Jorge believes that. I know Jose believes that. I know David believes that. But we just saw Pat Riley believe that he was going to get Damian Lillard, and that didn't happen. That is always the possibility. There are no guarantees that this team will be perennially great, right? I mean, we can look across the globe and see teams that have struggled. Schalke is struggling in the second division of Bundesliga. That's the most profitable team in Germany. You can look at Everton the past couple of years in the Premier League, even Chelsea last year, even Manchester United right now, right, and what they're going through.
Hey.
I had to throw that out there. I'm sorry. but there is no guarantee of success in this sport. Now, I know that you guys talked about the quad possibly for next year. I would say head and shoulders over everything is CONCACAF Champions Cup, because that is the gateway to the globe. So if they won a treble and that did not include that, I think that there will be massive disappointment there. They would be happy that they won.
No, it's CCC or
Right.
nothing in my opinion. Like that's the
Mhm.
only thing I care about next year is CCC.
But that's not a guarantee, right? And there, while MLS has improved, as we saw in the Open Cup final, there's very little room for error there. So I don't think that it's necessarily a guarantee that Inter Miami will get Antoine Griezmann, as Jay said, or the next Messi, whether that's Mbappe in a couple of years or whatever,
Mbappe,
right?
yes.
I don't think that that's necessarily a guarantee. It's attracting. It's a very good marketing line, but it has to come to fruition. And the stars aligned for Messi. Let's not forget that when this started 3-ish years ago, it was a dream that they had, and they very calculated. Give them a ton of credit. They were
Hmm.
very smart in their slow approach to it, which led us to this moment. But to hit 1,000 on that is inevitably not going to happen. So your ticket pricing, your marketing of your team, Manchester United is dealing with this right now. How they market their team has to be different simply because of it. Chelsea has spent $1 billion and it hasn't
We don't need to go into it.
done anything for them, right? So the success is not guaranteed, but what is set in stone is the amount of money that you are charging your season ticket holders. That is undeniable.
I agree. And the MLS has been just one of the most unpredictable leagues where like you can have a pretty solid idea of who's the favorite coming into a game, but I mean anything can happen in this league. And we saw Houston thoroughly dominate us throughout the match, even without Messi. I think expectations were that we would play a good amount better than we did, but very well stated as always. Ian, I appreciate you swinging by. I do want to keep rotating because I think there are some more individuals. Ryan, go ahead and speak your piece, sir.
Thanks, man. So, really, one of the things I wanted to respond to was when Chris was talking earlier about the food trucks and the vendors and all of that. One of the big things to take into account in terms of what they're going to do for the stadium, being that we only have it as the A team's, location for the next couple of years, is that everything is fungible. You bring in the food trucks, it means it's not permanent. So it all depends on how much they charge the food trucks to park on the location, how much, because they don't get it for free. They charge them for that space. So if the team thinks they can make money and let the food vendor make money, but it means it's not a permanent installation, then it works to everyone's benefit. And it's to the same with these new stands that they threw up, because the extra 3,000 seats are not going to be there in 3 years. The USL team is not going to need the 21,000 seats. The academy is not going to need the 21,000 seats. So everything I think they're doing in mind in terms of upgrading the stadium or upgrading the experience currently is all done in a mindset of it being temporary. That's the biggest thing, is that it's not, they're not going to do much to upgrade the experience to drive money away from where they're already allocating it, in their budget for MFP. But if they know, as somebody mentioned before, when you're going from 15,000 seats, $15,000 seats to $30,000 seats, there has to be some value add for that extra $15,000. It's not the same as adding, $400 to a seat. So there's got to be something to be done for that, but it's all done with a temporary mindset.
I think if there are any renovations that will be done to Dry Pink, it would probably be those additional stands they added in. From what I understand, they have essentially leased those stands from Hard Rock's F1 setup. I believe those are some of the stands they put up around there when F1 Miami comes to town. So I'm not sure if that's the option that we'll see for the next 2 years or not. It wouldn't surprise me if they put in, something a little bit more permanent. The whole stadium is pretty modular. That's how they were able to get it up in the 6-8 months or whatever it took to get up, because they're very easy to build. So I wouldn't be absolutely
surprised by any means if they added on maybe some more permanent seats with that didn't, I don't think the seats they added look the best. They kind of look out of place. So it wouldn't surprise me if they did something a little more aesthetically pleasing.
They're Legos, Jay. Just face it, they're Legos.
It's like a Lego stadium with Lincoln Log corner seats. You know what I'm saying? Or like Connects, if anyone remembers Connects. I don't know if I'm dating myself here, probably with the Lincoln Logs. But
Jay, I remember Connects. I got you. I'm just as old as you are, so
there we go.
Got your back, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Prepare yourself for no renovations.
I mean, I don't expect them. I could see that as a potential one, but like I'm not expecting too much, honestly.
When did Chris become the negative guy? Man, I listen to his podcast
He's
all the
just
time.
realistic.
He's super positive. He's a nice guy, and now he's like, screw the club. They're not going to do anything for me.
I mean, like, what are they going to do? Like, the cup holder in front of me has been broken for like 2 years. Like, they're not going to change that. Like,
why'd you break the cup holder in front of you? What did you do to it?
You can't even drink, Matthew. Just hold your water bottle.
I wanted water. Like, it was like after one of those friendly games. Like, I just come back to my seat and this cup holder has been broken. Like, I don't know. And then now I'm paying like $160 per game.
Wait. I'm going to say, I'm sorry, you're paying? Is Albert paying or are you paying?
We got to expose him like that. Who else would like to come on and
speak a little bit of what their thoughts are on this? Go ahead and raise your hand or request to be a speaker. I'm not too good with Twitter Spaces. Trav is supposed to be handling this, but we'll do our best.
Well,
I see Chris is raising his hand.
Well,
Jay.
Trav is here. He's just busy getting shit talk about how he plays in FIFA in the background. So he's kind of fighting a separate war right now.
Chris, you're a speaker. You can just unmute yourself.
I know. I just don't want to be rude. I don't want to blast right in like the Kool-Aid man. But
I appreciate it.
I mean, look, guys, we got a freaking box earlier this year with a scarf and a piece of crap card.
I'm saying they should
hold on, Chris. That was last year. To be fair, that was last year. We didn't get that this year.
Oh, we gotta get a pair of socks now.
This year, what did we get? It was the pink box.
We got the card this year. That's all we got.
It was a season members box or card rather. The box this year needs to be an Xbox.
So I got a card. So I got a card with my name on it, which gives me a discount that any Joe Blow can walk in and say, "Yeah, I'm a season ticket holder," and boom, Janet from the merchandising section is going to give him the same percentage that I am owed. Guys, this stadium is going to... We're lucky that we got these fancy machines that check in our tickets at the front. And that's only because there was going to be more cameras because of Messi.
I'm with Chris here. Like, I don't think we're going to get anything special. Like, the normal...
I just think, look, I try not to be too negative about this, but when it comes to, like, business and, like, these Mas guys, like, they are business to the asshole. Like, there's absolutely no way that they are really considering doing stuff that's like, oh, well, let's pay back to the fans. Like, yeah, they love us, but they don't love us that much.
So I think Chris, to jump in there, I think it comes down to, right, if they sell every single seat next year at this price without having to do a goddamn thing, yeah, I agree. We're going to get maybe a piece of paper with Messi's signature reprinted 45 times and saying hanging on the wall. Like, yeah, that's all we're getting. If they don't see them selling themselves those tickets every time, the benefits get nicer. Like you said, it's business. You either got to sell it or you don't.
I just want to mention that whether we renew our tickets or not, which, by the way, I'm going to be renewing my tickets, but whether we renew our tickets or not, come 2025, if we don't renew, Inter Miami's completely okay with it because they know every Tom, Dick, and Harry that has an accounting job in Brickell and downtown that does fucking pounds of cocaine is going to come through and buy up all those season tickets, and they're still going to pack the stadium.
You're right.
I think it's going to be harder to resell, though. I think that's the one thing we're going to see is it's probably going to be harder if they implement this Ticketmaster scheme they're doing. It will be a little bit more difficult to resell. So that's kind of been where we've seen a little bit of the team getting exposed a little bit, where they say, hey, it's a sellout game, but realistically, there's you can see open seats in there. Not nearly as bad as what it was, but I think next year will be a slightly different experience on the ticket scalping game.
So Jay, I agree with that because again, so I sit first row right above Messi's box. Messi was playing in the Toronto game. I had my tickets for sale for $300 for that game. They didn't sell. And so I do think, kind of going back to what I said earlier, Inter Miami doesn't actually understand the full value of their tickets yet. I think they're pricing these new tickets above the resale market. And either the market's going to have to catch up, or I don't actually have an or. I don't know what happens if the market doesn't catch up. There's just no resale, and they're going to have empty stadiums.
I'll give you an or. Or what happens if there's a catastrophic injury to Messi in the first few games and he's knocked out for a season? And then you've got to find out a way to justify these astronomical prices
At that
with
point,
a
you're
team
committed.
that could very much well play Neville ball at that point.
At that point, you're committed, though. You've already committed to your season tickets. There's no way that the organization is going to catch up with everyone who's invested in season tickets and be like, hey, the best player in the world just went down. Let's go ahead and help you renegotiate, or they're gonna dwindle their prices down, but it's not gonna be too crazy. They still have Busquets, they still have Alba. And to the point that Ian made, listen, when the new stadium comes, and I wanted to add to this, when the new stadium comes and if Messi doesn't play, at the end of the day, they're still going to raise it just because they're going to say, now we have a brand new stadium where we can possibly get Griezmann. We're still going to have these other guys, Busquets and Alba. I mean, who knows, right? But hey, here's a shiny brand new stadium that we built right on Melrose Park on the way to downtown so you can go to Club Space after.
Yeah,
I thought we're going to
to
11 after. We're going to Club Space. I thought 11.
We might.
11's like literally right on the road, man.
I might go to Club 609. Oh, you guys don't know what that is. You guys don't know what life
I
is.
like how you say that
I got
right
two kids,
as
bro. I don't go clubbing anymore. Leave me alone. I just put two kids to bed.
I like how you say that, and the second you say that, Nico from Siege joined, who is going to know everything about this. So,
Oh yeah.
Nico from Siege, please inform us
Let's
about
bring
Club
on
Space.
our resident guy on a bender.
No, not Club Space. He's Club 609. Come on, Nico. Let him know, Papa.
Yeah, I mean, why are we bringing Club Space? Like, you mentioned it, I have to come on,
Listen. Peso Pluma is the best artist in the world right now. Only second to Ice Spice.
Yeah, I agree. But anyway, you guys are having great conversations. Ian's bringing up good points. Nano's bringing up good points. Andrew spoke amazingly. And I just want to mention that, like, you guys are completely ignoring the fact that, yeah, we're all day ones. We are all prominent. Some of us have literally been here since 10, 20 years before the team. But the whole matter of this involving as the supporter groups is probably one of the loudest ways to get visible. I mean, we just had someone from Nashville in here from their supporter groups who I've interacted with in the past, I believe, who talked about their price increases, and we've all seen what happened in Montreal. We've all seen what's happening in DC with these 20-30% price increases. And the news hasn't really hit of what's going on the SG side, but I think everyone's forgetting that everyone is getting shafted instead of just themselves.
Are you able to provide kind of a idea of what's happening on the SG side? I mean, that's not really my space, so
I don't think I'm allowed. I don't think I should say exactly the text I received this morning, but it did not make me happy. It did not. I know for a fact it did not make. I think we all know here the political climate of these supporter groups of Inter Miami. The sizes of most of them, and I guarantee you the smaller guys are more shafted than the bigger guys. They really are. Especially because everyone got caught with their hand down their pants this year with the Messi thing, not having supporter group season tickets, because obviously you could always buy them for $4 before the game. And now, well, I speak on my end. I can speak on my friends' ends. the bigger guys are fine because they not only have their own tickets as they've so intelligently done that in the past, but it's the smaller guys that are now all of a sudden they have like 300, 400 members and only 40 of them are season ticket holders, and the team has not given me an option to fix that, to mediate that solution, to look for a solution to that, you know what I mean? And on top of that, the prices are not as, like, you would assume, and I think anyone would assume that, like, oh my god, the team's brand comes from La Familia. The team's brand comes from people like Vice City, who do such a good job at creating this beautiful atmosphere. And at the end of the day, they go around and they're like, oh yeah, you guys, thank you for your Instagram content, bro. Here's, instead of a 200% increase, I'm only going to give you a 120% increase on your season ticket. We aren't being helped out as much as I think people would assume. So
Nico, do you think this could be a unification event between maybe not all of the SGs, but some of them, to band together and maybe get a better result?
look, we have done small, not external protests, but we have let our mind be known. I think I can say that for all the SGs. But the general consensus amongst three groups right now is that the smaller guys are screwed. The bigger guys aren't going to pay any mind to this. Unfortunately, like, I mean, I get it. I get, if it's not going to affect me, I don't want to, like, bother painting giant tifo. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to get involved in politics on the other end. But something might come of this on the SG side. I don't know. I don't know about, like, the rest of the stadium, however, but
Well, and I think that's really interesting to know. And, I think that you,
Hold up, Nico, can you mute yourself? We're getting an echo from your end. Thank you.
I think that it's, a really good point. And, it gets kind of lost in this conversation because you do have all these people who, like myself, I am part of a supporter group. I'm a Siege member, even though that may get me hurt. Uh, it gets lost on you that these people who are bringing the atmosphere to the match, who are, the heartbeat of this club, they still have to pay to get in too. And, if they're not being taken care of the same way as they should be, considering just their role in every single match, then, that's another much bigger discussion that also needs to be had.
Yeah. Nano, I saw your hand up. Do you want to provide any input from your SG?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, I'm speaking for myself, but I've been involved with the supporter groups at some capacity since, I don't know, late 2018, early 2019, right? So, like, I've kind of seen, all this grow since we were just an Instagram post and not even a team yet. But I'm always looking at, like, what other clubs do around the league, and clubs that are older have, like, I know Seattle has, like, a season ticket union that they kind of put out statements, and they, like, meet up with the club, and it's like a really good organization, and they're obviously, taking a page from, like, European supporter culture, where in the Bundesliga. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. You're talking
Oh,
about
okay.
like a supporter's trust, right?
Yeah, I mean, more or less something just independent from any one group, just to kind of, I don't want to say the word umbrella, but, like, kind of get everyone on the same page for the things that do matter, ticket prices, parking, food, and whatnot. But in the Bundesliga, it's a little bit different because the supporters or the season ticket holders do have a stake in the club, and I'm pretty sure it's like a 51% law or rule. That's the name of the law that they have. So I think it'll be interesting to kind of use this, bad news today, and how Nico said earlier in one of his tweets, like, the day after we lose a final at home is, like, even worse to get that news. So I think this could be a good moment to, like, rally behind common points that we all have, instead of, like, focusing on which SG has been here longer than the other one, or which one brings in more people, because at the end of the day, like, we have all been here since, but before all these trophies and whatnot. One
Yeah,
trophy.
it's a very
yeah.
valid point. And 2 years ago, I was asked to reach out to leadership in all the SGs to try and see if that would be something that would be, a potential. And I didn't know that about the Bundesliga. I've seen clubs in England like AFC where it's, the primary stake is owned by the fans, and I don't think that will be a thing we'll ever see in the
Never.
American
Never.
capitalistic sporting event. But I think it is a good rallying cry. And I mean, for me, I'm impartial, but I think I've got pretty good relationships with all the SGs and the key members, and I hope something really beneficial comes out of that, and something that is unifying. I also hope that there is more of a collaborative approach from the club and the SGs, even extending beyond that from the club and the community as well. I think at times there has been a lack of involvement in the community from the club, and if they could really focus on that, I think it would go a long, long way with the SGs and the fans.
Right, yeah. And I just want to hop back on and just like, I don't want to derail this conversation, because the reason I bring up supporter groups is that I just think they are a representation of everything good about this fan base. I mean, we have different cultures here. We have people that are just chronically online. We have people that want to replicate the amazing Argentina atmosphere. We have people that want to replicate like the tailgating atmosphere. Like it's I just think we're a good representation, and just to see that the team won't even throw us a bone just goes to show. Like it's frustrating, because I myself, like, I have my Siege supporter group duties, but I also have my own tickets on the West End for family, for friends, for clients, and it's extremely frustrating seeing that not only am I not getting thrown a bone, paying the equivalent of my bloody car in like my car total for those tickets. I'm also like getting shoved out of the North Stand, which is like where I've been since that Atlanta game where it was only like 300 of us allowed. Like it is frustrating, and like just because we are just because someone's part of Siege, or somebody's in the East Stand, or somebody's in the VIP and then the West Stand, like it just goes to show that like we're all, like Nano said, we all kind of are in this together. And I don't think anyone like should have any more say than anyone else, because I don't want to say we got shafted, because looking at the numbers, right, like it's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, I know some people that get hit with like 300% like increases, and other people got hit with like 60% increases. And looking around the league, like the prices are aligning up more. I saw somebody in Nashville on the Nashville subreddit saying that like, oh, it's a little under of what I'm actually paying, regarding their like a normal midfield East Stand. But it's yeah, it's been a rough day for many people.
So I'd love to ask a question to kind of Nico and Nano as the representatives of the SGs on this group. And if there's any other SG representatives here, please request to be a speaker and jump in. But one thing that really kind of stuck with me looking at the season ticket holder renewal thing is it's quite clear next season that the SGs only get 108 and 109. It wasn't, I didn't know. I think we kind of all thought that it would just be for the first few games, but 106, 107, 110, and 111 are all now sitting areas. So, kind of, what do you guys think that's the impact on the SGs? Is that going to change how we act, how they act? Are we going to see a difference in game days? And is that something that's been was that a conversation before this happened, or did you all just hear about it today?
So the whole 108, 109 thing was something that we were encountering. I think it was the League Cup games, right? I think everyone noticed that 108, 109 was GA, and then 107, 106, and then 110, 111 were all assigned seats for League Cup games that you could buy on Ticketmaster. You could buy off the team. Maybe the team had its own separate thing, but with the SGs. But that's how it was going. I know there's been on multiple ends of multiple groups. It's been nothing but complaints about that, because that's just not how it was. That's not how it was. Like we were spread out. I don't want to say evenly, but we were spread around out by 4 to 5 sections, and now we're all being crammed into two. And the culture clashes in these two sections has not happened. I know Nano so eloquently the other day said that his section seemed like the WWE Royal Rumble all of a sudden. And anyone that's been in that North Stand knows how rough it's been. The lawlessness in 107, 108. It was a little better during these past couple MLS games when it all became GA. Yesterday was all GA. It was a little better. It was still very crowded in the middle too, but that's because the party's in there. Like that's where everyone will gravitate to naturally. But I think I've slowly been preparing for this whole. It's only these two little sections, and the rest is like assigned. The rest is not going to culturally align, like physically with the rest of with what is like now the La Familia sections. But I don't know if Nano has anything else to add to that.
I thought that I think there's got to be some sort of resentment from the SGs, from the non-SG members that are in the SG sections. I mean, it's supposed to be you have the band on your arm. That's how you get into that section. But Guardian and or the club doesn't really do anything to actually prevent non-SG viewers from coming in there. And you can see just like the lack of, I don't know, just care for the North Stands, with everyone just clogging up the walkways. Or like I said, yesterday I saw a little kid fall off the rails, get knocked down by somebody. And I mean, little dude looked shaken up, like he was tearing up and stuff. And it just blew my mind that they understand the massive influx of people that are coming to the stadium, people that are coming to watch the games. And I just feel like they haven't done enough to ensure the safety or well-being of enough people up there. Because there's often skirmishes or arguments that are going up there. Either I've seen it all. I've seen between SGs. I've seen SGs to non SG fans that are there, and I just think that there could be more done to tighten up that aspect of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really good point, and I think that it's going to be interesting to see, and I guess it's as much a question as it is a comment, for Nico and Nano. We've seen, ever since the arrival of Lionel Messi, we've seen the creation and the kind of popularization of the messiahs, or whatever the hell they're called. And with people like that now, they don't need a band to get in the supporter section. They don't need to be a supporter group to technically be in that area. What's going to prevent them from attempting to encroach on these actual supporter groups, the people that have been with us through thick and thin from the very beginning, and trying to get their own area within the North Stand and make their voice heard. And Nico and Nano, this is kind of for both of you. What does that say to you guys, and what are your thoughts on an idea and a topic like that?
I mean, personally speaking for myself, I really have like no interest in like making another supporter group, like an official one underneath the club. Not that that's my say or anything, but I have no interest in doing that for a supporter group that's for one player. That's just me. If they want to buy tickets, and want to go to the game and tailgate and all that, that's cool. But to have a say and to have like a direct line of communication with the club is something that's just not gonna happen for a supporter group that has like 3 months and is all based around one player. So that's all I gotta say about that one topic.
So since I'm a little deeper into the SG world than Nano, and now that I've seen that the two employees are gone, I can say rightfully that the team, the front office, are aware of what type of group these Messiahs people are. They have zero interest with assisting them in any any like La Familia perks, any like cultural perks, other than you guys give us your money, we will give you what you want. That is basically what I've been told. This is what I've been seeing, what I have seen. These people they're psychopaths. Honestly, like I was witness to them paying in full cash. Like I don't know how you pay $100K in full cash in 2023, but we'll let that roll. But as far as I've been assured, as far as Siege, as far as Vice City, as far as Southern Legion and
Hold on.
Nacion,
100K for what?
For their group of tickets, like their
Oh,
group.
okay.
As far as all the SGs have been told, and I was in the meeting with the front office figures that we all know and love and hate. These people, they are aware of what they are. It's an SG. It's a group of the fan of one people. They have zero interest with anyone. If they even wanted to pretend that's not the truth, into the North Stand, the game before last, and they put up a flag, and the liaison to the SGs immediately runs over and screams at them, demands they take it down. Security was involved, like they immediately took it down, but an attempt was made. But as far as the team has the SGs back on it, like they know we're here for the team instead of one guy.
Well, I think that's reassuring to a lot of the day ones, and probably a smart business move. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a business. So if you can pay for a ticket, they'll sell you a ticket, and you can attend the games. But to blatantly come out there, and then there's been some things people saw on social media we don't need to really get into, but maybe not the best way to introduce yourselves or to go about trying to interject yourself into a culture. Chris, go ahead. And Nano, if you were going to say something, I feel like you muted yourself, and then I started talking. So if you want to jump in as well.
No, you're good.
I have a quick question to both Nico and Nano, if you guys don't mind, because I imagine that the memberships have increased ever since, of course, because of Messi. But there was a point that one of you made that kind of struck me very shocking. And it seems to me as if the organization is looking at you guys more as an add-on to the brand and versus the people of the supporter groups, right? In terms of you guys getting your fair share of allotment of tickets. Am I reading that wrong? Or is that kind of what I see?
Um,
And I know that we're stepping into some really political stuff here. So I don't want you guys to overstep or anything like that, but it just seems to me, that it's seen as like a brand add-on, and that you guys aren't being looked at with the proper respect of these are people that come in and they give everything that they got for the club. So let's take care of these people instead of just this add-on to the brand.
I mean, what I will say is that how not I don't really know much, so I can't really answer all that because those are conversations that happen in rooms that I'm not in.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that the club does market the game day atmosphere and La Familia as being like a unique experience, because it truly is. If anyone has been to a game, obviously a lot of us have. It is incredibly unique. And how Ian was saying, that is like a selling point to go to games, and it was earlier when we were fielding Ben Sweat and McCarthy and all them. But bottom line is, if the people who play the instruments and are there setting up 4 hours before the game in the rain to set up the flags, if they can't get in, then there's gonna be nothing to promote left of La Familia. So
exactly,
that's what I'm gonna say about that.
And look, this has been going on for quite some time. We're going to let it run on for, another 20 minutes or so. We'll probably have to do a follow-up and see, what everyone's thoughts are a week later, or if any announcements are made or changes in price, which, I mean, I don't expect, but I'm sure there are several individuals in the club that said this is what we're doing. And there's, some of them might be dead set on it. Some might want to see what the results look like. So I feel like this conversation could, go on, honestly, for so much longer than we'll be able to allot it. So we'll probably have to do a follow-up. But is there, anyone else that hasn't spoken yet that would like to come up there and share, what their thoughts are on the situation, maybe what your experience has been? Request to speak, or
I think
Mike,
Nico
go ahead if you want to. I don't know. He requested, then he dropped. I think he might have been waving. Mike?
No, I had mine on earlier. I just realized I never took it down.
No
Um,
worries, man. No worries.
just I think it's awesome. We've had so many listeners here today. See a lot of names I recognize, a lot of names I don't. Uh, it's. I mean, what a day to have to host the Trav Chats on such a raw moment that we can all get on in that. So, thank you to Jay and Trav for setting this up.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm not opposed to staying on longer. If we want to move away from this, maybe discuss last night's game or what everyone's thoughts were on the result that I think surprised a lot of us. I think a lot of people were coming in there very optimistic, but if not, I mean, we've been definitely going on for a while. So, Trav, what do you want to do, buddy?
Uh, I say, in the interest of the fact that this will also be a podcast, we'll cut this off in just a little bit, probably a little bit after 10:30. Uh, it will mark the longest episode of Trav Chats ever at a little bit over 2 hours. And before we got to that ending, I wanted to just give everybody a thank you for a kind of just amazing conversations that we've had. I always like to say that it's a really good episode of Trav Chats when I don't have to speak a lot. And this is one where I've played multiple games of FIFA in the background, just on mute, listening to all the amazing things that, have been said, and everybody's opinions and everybody's thoughts on, everywhere, ranging from the club, Drive Pink Stadium, to ticket prices, to things that the club can do to improve. And, I know that this will inevitably get out there. People will listen to this. And, I've always imagined Trav Chats as a forum for the fans, just like myself, to be able to speak and share their mind and say what they want to say and be able to be heard in doing so. So, just a bravo. Thank you to everybody for coming on this evening and having this just amazing Trav Chats episode we've had. And, you know, just, great by everybody. I'll give a couple of shout outs here. Shout out to Jay and the Inter Miami podcast. Thank you guys for being just such great hosts and partners throughout all of this. I'm going to give one club shout out here, mostly because otherwise I, will feel guilty. Shout out to my rep Hunter. Just great guy. He's great rep. If you have Hunter as a rep, you are quite lucky. He's probably the best season ticket rep I've had across all sports. So just huge shout out to Hunter for that. And like I said, just a huge shout out to La Familia. And we're all in this journey together. We've been in this journey together since 2019, since the club was announced, to 2020 when they stepped on the field and saw the pandemic shortened season. To even before that, to where we saw people like Nico at the announcement that Miami was getting a team again. Just we've been through all of this together. We've been through some dark days. We've been through some really bright ones just this season. And despite this whole season ticket price increase fiasco, I know there's some really bright days moving forward, and there's some really bright things that you know the club is going to achieve, and that us as supporters of this club are all going to achieve together. And I'm sorry that that's a bit of a rant, and for everybody that's listening on the podcast version, you probably turned off by now. But I just wanted to give out, my kind of overall thoughts on what's been quite a 24 hours for Inter Miami, and just the great conversation that we've had this evening.
That 46 sounds like it's hidden right
It
now.
is. It also is hitting with the illegal substance.
Yeah, well, no, I mean they're very well stated. I agree with every bit of it. I mean these are it's a good forum for the fan perspective, right? And thank you for coming along and partnering up with us. I mean, you've been invaluable for I don't know when you first stumbled into our Discord 3 years ago. So appreciate you every step along the way. Obviously to all the speakers, Mike. I mean, you do tons of work. And help us out in so many ways, and just really good guy. Nano. I mean, you're about this community. You have the best intentions. Thank you for coming on and sharing. I don't think Nico's here anymore. Probably, hopefully, his favorite gringo still. But there's, a lot of good conversation. I mean, Matthew coming in here, Chris, always swinging by and sharing your thoughts as well. I mean, the thing I love the most about this is, if you've been following this club for the duration since the inception, you're probably aware of who the main kind of players are in terms of the journalistic world or the media or content world. And what I love so much about all of it is, there is always that healthy competition, and wanting to make sure that we're all putting out the best content and staying up with each other. But man, it's always such a collaborative effort, to see people swing by, you know, Chris or Danny, Austin just popped in, Ian Hest. It's just always fun to stay in touch and jump on each other's platforms and share our thoughts. So I mean, big shout out to all of the SGs, all of the community, all of the media, the independent content makers. I mean, it truly is beautiful, and I hope the fans enjoy it and use this platform to share whatever thoughts you have moving forward. And we'll keep it rolling. It's always for the fans. It's always for the community. If it wasn't for you guys, probably half of us wouldn't be doing this. So, thank you for tuning in and spending 2 hours with us. I mean, this is a long episode, but a great conversation. I mean, great conversation of a topic that I think has been on everyone's minds since they saw those emails, whatever time the emails were sent to everybody.
Yeah, and I mean, I fully agree with everything that Jay has said, and just another great shout out to all the amazing local media that covers this club and provides, just an amazing array of content, whether it's Ian Hest, Austin Robillard, Alex Winley with the Heron Outlet, Austin Robillard with Messi and Co., the Inter Miami podcast, Chris and Danny with Battered Herons. There's just so much content. We're so lucky to have all of this. And, a shout out to everybody that joined tonight, for choosing Trav Chats to come talk on. I started as a shit posting account when I went to a Nashville game in 2021. And yet here I am 2.5 years later leading a podcast that I'm sure got way too many views. And it's just amazing the amount of growth that we've all experienced together, and just the amount that we're going to continue to experience and grow together with this club, as we can only go up from here with players like Lionel Messi, Sergio Busquets, and Jordi Alba. The ceiling is kind of endless for this club and for soccer in Miami.
Agreed. Be remiss if I didn't shout out Peter Brown and Uncle Ed from Miami Total Football. I'll give Franco a shout out as well from Miami Total Radio. I'm confusing them all now. Calypso, Wario with La Vincentita. I mean, all the guys out there doing it independently, man. It's been an amazing journey, and look forward to the continued collabs.
Yeah, and fully agree with all of that, and kind of.
I left one out, but we can skip it.
And on that note, I think we'll proceed to end Trav Chats here. Once again, a big thank you to everybody for joining tonight. If you are listening to this on replay, whether it's on Twitter, Apple Music, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, please make sure to come, give myself at IMCFTraveller a follow. Drop a follow for Inter Miami Podcast as well. we'll make sure to, in the description, tag all of the great, basically partners in the Inter Miami media community and content creating community that, we've all gotten the great chance to work with and interact with. They make supporting this team just so much more special every single time that, you go to a match or you even, hop on something like this. So we'll make sure to drop all of them in the description. But
yeah, I want to correct that. Peter Brown, Uncle Ed, Miami Football TV. Franco is Miami Total Football.
Thank you, Jay. So on that note, thank you again, everybody, for joining. We will be back live next Thursday at 8:30 p.m. after Inter Miami plays NYCFC and Cincinnati at home as they continue their race to the MLS Cup playoffs. At the time of recording, Miami's 5 points out with, I believe, 5 matches left to play. So it'll be very much a sprint to the finish. And by this time next week, we may know whether Inter Miami's season is going to end early and Miami will be hitting the golf courses, or if Miami is still alive in the MLS Cup playoff race.
Yep, 5 to go. NYCFC, Chicago away, Cincinnati at home, Charlotte away, Charlotte at home.
That is correct.
Or Charlotte at home, Charlotte away.
So thank you again to everybody for joining. And, as we love to end an episode of Trav Chats with a good old Vamos Miami.
Vamos Miami.
3, 2, 1, yeah!
Yeah.